Disney Plus lost 700,000 subscribers in the last quarter, and now there's a prediction that they might lose even more this time around. But what could save them? Well, maybe your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a cartoon, it's on Disney Plus, and there's quite a fuss about the first few episodes, but has it saved itself with its second week? Well, we'll tell you whether or not Marvel might be getting cold feet with their latest Spidey senses. Hello, folks. Welcome back. What a joy it is to spend time with you. It is an attitude of gratitude we have every time we get the honor of spending time with you. So thank you for inviting us onto your device, into your day, and wherever you might be. Hope you're making the world a better place. Today, we're talking about Spider-Man, and we're talking about whether or not this could be something to help stave off the subscriber losses that Disney is suffering from. Click the like button. We'll tell you what's going on right now. All right, panel. We've seen the latest episodes, 3 of them, and I'm just going to start us off by saying this, folks. Last time we were on this live stream, we played Free Domain, the intro. That was it. Didn't play music. They busted our chops on it, so we're not going to do that. You don't get to see Spider-Man swinging through on a loop every 30 seconds. Sorry, Disney, we're not going to promote you. But these new episodes, I like them better. I like them much better than the start off. And I could have spent more time with the little brother to, I guess Lincoln is his name, because we needed to get to know that. So it was more of an emotional hit when Lincoln does what he does to try to save his little brother. Thought it was good. I thought that the Osborn stuff where he's kind of weirdly taking over, helping Peter, I thought it was good. I thought it was on the right tone. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. I actually thought these episodes were pretty darn good, with one exception. I hate these facial animations. These sometimes, Lincoln's girlfriend and Aunt May, or Aunt May. I don't, whichever way you want to go, folks. Route, I don't care. Potato. But they look like Cabbage Patch dolls from certain angles. It's off-putting.
I think some of that may be deliberate. You're seeing some of the villain characters in this episode. They're deliberately mimicking Jack Kirby's artwork. And Jack was famous for having pretty ugly faces. And I think that they're trying to mimic the style. So I think that's where that's coming from.
Mission accomplished. They're ugly. They're ugly, and Aunt May weirds me out every time she's on screen. I don't know what's going on there, but Lauren, we'll come back to you. Let me do a follow-up. I thought these episodes were way better, and that's not usual. Usually Disney Plus puts out a show, the first 2 episodes are good, then you get a bunch of filler, and then you get a finale that's like, who cares? This one, we actually got better. So did you think the same, or was I off on it?
Yeah, I actually agree. Kevin dropped in our back channels that there were 3 episodes that dropped today, and I kind of rolled my eyes. I was leaving work. It's like, I don't want to watch 3 episodes of this. I liked last week's episodes, but I was anticipating, kind of like you. I knew I was generous with my score last week, and so I was anticipating a big drop for these. I just knew it was going to rub me the wrong way, and to my surprise, it didn't. I actually had fun. I like the way they're introducing some of these characters. So far, I can't point out any character that I don't like. I'm having fun. And if it continues in this kind of vein, I'd be happy to watch more. And that really surprised me. It's some of the only content that I think that I've seen recently. Like I said, Skeleton Crew was fine, but it was just fine. This, I kind of like. So far, I'm really hoping they don't screw it up. I don't want it to devolve into what we're used to seeing from them. If they keep up this quality, I'm happy to keep watching.
All right, Nolan, are we wrong? Did they get better? And tell me, Nolan, give me 3 things you liked and 3 things you didn't from these episodes.
Okay. I think it's definitely an improvement from what we had before. And honestly, my only really major gripe with this is just the character swapping. Even if you're going to race swap certain characters, like Harry Osborn, they show some of the concept art during the credits. They had some nerdier designs for Harry, which I think look a little closer to the comics. Some of the designs are very questionable. The Connors character, she should have just been a great new character, kept the same race and everything. It should have never been related to Dr. Connors. That's actually been my only major gripe with the show is some of the design choices, because you get rid of that stuff, like it's just your normal Spider-Man cartoon. There's like, the high school drama, there's the stuff with going on with the inner gang wars. There's a lot of there's actually some unexpected twists and original ideas they come up with. And I actually, surprisingly, if you're talking about stuff I kind of like how they were sort of trying to connect this to the MCU. As someone who tends these days, anytime you try to connect something to the MCU, it's kind of starting to become dead to me, because that whole genre itself has a major problem of where it's going. But I gotta say, like, I like seeing the smaller scale type stuff of how the actions of these major characters we've seen is impacting the smaller side of things, without it feeling like a smaller story, because the whole world of Spider-Man is just so rich and intriguing, so much character. I am actually pretty surprised that they managed to take a character who, correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't know if he ever was in the comics, but this Lincoln character, his whole wrap up with the basically the mafia and the gangs and all that, I think that's actually a creative idea. You get to see a lot of different dynamics of, morality, trying to protect family, different backgrounds, and trying to do the right thing. I don't like the sappy, like, oh, it's like, okay, the moment he shakes hands with the mob boss, he's wrapped into this. Now he's in agreement. We got to go through this for a few episodes. I felt like that's kind of a rom-com type trope where it's like the misunderstanding, or the, oh, he's hiding this, and you're beating around the bush for the next few episodes just to get to the point. But I do gotta say, I think once you get into the story itself, it's actually really fascinating. What's going on with the gang wars? How would an innocent person react in these situations? And they're actually threading the needle very well on balancing Spider-Man to the equation. It doesn't feel like a sidetrack. They're mirroring his fights with Spider-Man's own against the supervillains. I love the Spider-Man Harry Osborn dynamic. It's about time we actually got to see these two being friends in something, God forbid, because in the Raimi movies, he was trying to kill him. In the 90s cartoon, he seemed like most of the time he hated him or had amnesia or something like that. It's cool to actually see these characters getting close. And I think the thing that's really making this intriguing to me and not just forgettable schlock is the whole Peter Parker, Norman Osborn dynamic. That's kind of a new idea. Getting to see his greatest villain meet him at such a young age, and wanting to spread his, own sort of wisdom, so to speak. I'm sure he's going to end up a villain by the end of this. Like, he's testing out the Spider-Man suits for him, and I'm sure he's going to use it to make his own super weapons. But it's original ideas, and I think aside from modifying characters a little too strong in certain places, I think it's a fun show. Every episode continues on, but stands alone without feeling like a long 8-episode slog. And it's actually a show for once that actually has a catchy theme song, even if it's a variant. So yeah, I gotta say, I think the show overall, it's all right. I think there's stuff to like. I'm not completely sold on it being great, but I think, I thought it was okay, and I'm fine with seeing more.
Kevin, I like Lincoln better than Peter Parker, I think, at this point. And it's kind of it's a little bit strange in that regard. Although I did not buy Lincoln's immediate family. Like, I didn't buy any of that stuff when they find out that that his little brother's, doing things he shouldn't be doing. Like, I didn't buy any of that. But then I kind of did buy the whole the Lincoln deal, watching out for his brother. I just wish we had more time finding out about those two before we were like thrust into, oh, he's got a brother, and oh, the brother's doing bad stuff, and oh, he's going to make a sacrifice for the brother. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think we needed just a little extra time with the family to get a feel for the full dynamic. Because we spent a lot of time with Lincoln in the last 2 episodes, and then we immediately jump into the younger brother is with a group of bad guys, and it just seemed a little too rushed, which is weird because they've done a pretty good job of pacing out the show. Actually, I will give them credit. The Spider-Man scenes were a lot better than the first 2 episodes. Yeah, it actually felt like driving the plot, for the last 3 episodes. It just, the pacing was a lot better in general. That was really the only real misstep that I saw. And if you're a comic book fan, you know that Lincoln's really Tombstone. So like you're just kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop, and see this, how are they going to get to the villainous turn. I don't really have too many complaints. I mean, I'm enjoying the running parallel to the MCU, like the what is it called, the Corvia Accords are still happening. The only thing different is this Peter's life. Norman Osborn saw the video before Tony Stark did. That's really what it comes down to. And so we're getting to see just his life play out a little differently while still.
Are we going full Green Goblin?
Yeah, I think so. I think that, not to drown everybody in really long comic book lore, but Norman always wanted to be a gangster. That was he was trying to control the mob long before he became a supervillain. That was his big play. And when he became the Green Goblin, it was more about having the technology to control the mob.
You're being accosted from behind. Are you okay, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. I accidentally let her in when I had to go not be dying on the air before.
It happens. It happens. This is how your villain story begins. This is like what did you say that the Lincoln's going to turn into?
He turns into the villain Tombstone.
Well, now, does Tombstone have to be a bad guy in this multiverse? Maybe that's the twisterooski we get on this thing.
That's true. So I'm glad we got Doc Ock, and I do agree with Lauren. I'm kind of really into the Kirby style art, of the Kirby Ditko blend. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. The show has a nice, it's different. It has a neat vibe about it. Again, it was a little jarring the first couple episodes. I feel like the memo to knock off a lot of the nonsense probably didn't come down until they hit the 3rd episode, because I was ready. I was ready to be like, okay, what are you going to smack me with this week? And there was really nothing that I could complain about, other than little tiny stuff. But again, yeah, like I said last week, my concern was that a lot of the stuff was very subversive. It wasn't in your face. It was just below the surface, but there. And again, very, very toxic. But I didn't really have a lot of that. But I thought all 3 episodes were very enjoyable. I liked a lot of the nods to, other comic book stories with the changing costumes. And like if you're a comic book nerd, you had a blast. And I'm just interested to kind of see where they're going to go with the story.
What's the cat's name, Kevin?
Now, the cat is named Siren.
Okay,
very apropos.
Let's all
how appropriate.
That's perfect. Did Siren watch Spider-Man with you?
No, she did not. She was down here knocking over my Enterprise E.
Siren? Oh, Siren, girl, come on. You're killing us now. You're supposed to help
Maybe
Kevin.
that's why she's so vocal, because she... Yeah, maybe she really wanted to, and she was sad that she was locked down in the basement.
No permanent damage. I just can't get my captain's yacht to stay on this red thing. Very annoying.
Siren, we're going to have a talk later with Siren. Vash, it's your turn. Vash, tell us about your thoughts on Spider-Man. Do you agree with us, or are you going to be the counter voice to this and say, no, there were major mistakes made. I can't stand Lincoln's little brother, and the blue-haired girl is still blue lipsticking all over the place.
Well, that's kind of the unfortunate thing about this show, is that actually it's kind of hitting its stride at this point, but it is weighed down a little bit by the foundation that was built in those first couple of episodes. I think if they would have ironed those things out, I mean, honestly, this is a pretty strong show right here. I was actually very impressed with these episodes. I was very impressed with the character dynamics and so forth, and how they set up these characters, how they set up their storylines. I felt kind of invested in the story of Peter Parker, and obviously his relationship with Norman Osborn, and also too Lincoln's story, very compelling as well. So, like, I think they're they're really doing something that is that has surprised me. Now it still has a few issues, like we were saying before, with some of the premises laid down there in the first 2 episodes. Also, too, the animation style not quite the best. Can't get into it, but hey, when the battle scene pops up, actually hits its stride pretty well. There's some amazing shots in there that are like, ooh, that's pretty dynamic. That was tough to do, and that was difficult to portray on screen.
Are you talking about him fighting the 2 villains who have the little superpowered legs and arms, or a different one?
Oh yeah. We see a little bit of this with the first encounter with Doctor Strange, but yeah, the specifically those two villains there with the augmented gloves and feet, legs and everything like that. There's some shots in there that are they would have been pretty difficult a couple of years ago to actually achieve for a show of this caliber right here. So I was actually pretty impressed by that. I think Peter Parker, I think I still like his character a lot, but Lincoln's definitely growing on me, that's for sure. I don't know. I found myself enjoying what I was watching, and I really can't say that for much Disney Plus content. That's pretty remarkable. So they definitely achieved something here.
We keep it real. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. If everything that Disney puts out, we just slam it every single time, nobody's going to believe us. So you got to be real with the people. You got to say, is it bad? Is it good? All right, let's go around the horn. We're going to start with Nolan. Now, by the way, folks, we're not being rude to Mrs. Flew. Mrs. Flew did not have a chance to see Spider-Man, and Mrs. Flew has seen the movies, though, so she's very happy to stay with that joy. Mrs. Flew, have you seen all the Spider-Man movies? Did you see the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield and all of them?
All of them, yes.
All of them, everyone. And they're all true. It's all true, all of it. All right, let's go around the horn. Nolan, we'll start with you. We're going to get a review score for these middle episodes. Then I think we'll be close to the end coming up real soon. Nolan, middle episodes, what say you? Scale of 0 to 10.
I'm going to give these a 7. It's definitely a lot more on the positive this week. Maybe it's Stockholm Syndrome, but the longer I spend time with these characters, the more I kind of like them. It still bugs me, some of the creative choices, I still really frustrates me that they made, Dr. Connors basically a completely different character from what he was in the comics. Even with them, race and gender swapping, she doesn't act anything like him. I wish this was just a brand new character we could just truly enjoy in the show. So things like that hold it back. But like I said, when I was talking about the positives, there's actually a lot of fun to be had with the show. It's got some energy. The whole show is not just a find the MacGuffin, whatever have you. So I'm going to go with a 7. I think it's getting solid. And I really, really hope it keeps the momentum up to where I hope by the end of it, I become a fan, because I was a loyal, spectacular Spider-Man fan back in the day. So I hope it really rebounds from where it started.
Well said. Lauren, it's up to you.
I'm going to give it a 7 too. I gave last week's a 7, and that was sort of being generous, but I didn't hate it, and so I was giving it a little bit of rope, and I fully expected that I was going to hang it this week. This time, I think the 7 is genuine, and I'm hoping that it continues along this track. I would not be upset if we got a good Spider-Man show. I know there's some folks in the comments that don't like it, but so far it's working for me, and that's not at all what I expected. I thought that I was going to hate this thing, but I'm having a good time.
Lauren, it's been said at least 17 times on this show about you. You keep it for Rizzle. You keep it for Rizzle. Kevin, how many meows out of 10 do you give this one?
Yeah, I kind of want to give it an 8. I had a lot of fun with the 3 episodes. Because I've been able to compartmentalize. Hey, it's its own thing.
Don't say it like you feel sorry about it, man. Nobody's going to mess with you. Have you looked at your muscles lately? You're okay. They're not.
Own it.
Yeah. Now, me and Lauren, we might have to be a little bit worried about what we do, but you don't have to be worried about it. You stand brave, shoulders back. 8 out of 10. I'm not afraid of doing that. Kevin, you staying with it? 8 out of 10. You feel
I'm staying
good
with it.
Okay. I don't want anybody to pressure you. Don't be mean to my buddy Kevin. Bash, coming to you. Will you be brave? Will you be bold? What will you score Spider-Man?
I think it's a solid 7. There are things that hold it back for sure, but definitely improvement on the first week's couple of episodes, that's for sure. And it definitely has piqued my interest, which is great. You know, I watch a lot of anime. I do. So I reserve those top tier, numbers like 8, 9s, 10s for stuff that's definitely befitting of those things. But having watched so much anime, I've definitely become familiar with more animated works, and this is I think this is a solid piece of Western media. Could it be much better if they were to remove some of this stuff? Absolutely, and I would fully give it the full recommendation if they had. But as Nolan said, and as Lauren's brought up, and you, Kevin, as well, there's just some things holding it back. It just has a little bit more of that progressive Western influence that I would have liked to have seen. But I gotta be honest, it's up there. It is up there.
All right, I'm giving it a 6. I'm going to be the curmudgeon of the day, and the reason I'm going to give it a 6 is this reason and this reason alone. If I wasn't having to review it, it wasn't painful. I didn't hate it, but I wouldn't keep watching it. And for me, that's why I got to put it as 6. It's not that I listen, it was fine. But if you said to me, hey, Pro, we're not going to do the show next week, will you watch Spider-Man? I'd be like, maybe if it's on, but I'm not going to take time out of my day to watch it. That's where we are, and that's why I'm going to put it at a 6 instead of a 7. And but again, it was fine, and it could get better, and maybe that's giving me some hope, So we'll see. But I remember back to the Spider-Man cartoon from the 90s, and when I compared against that, maybe it's just nostalgia speaking to me, but boy, oh boy, I enjoyed it. All right, that means, folks, we're giving the middle episodes a very good 7 out of 10 for the middle episodes, and we will be back again next week to review the next set of your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We shall see how it goes. And put another one in the can, folks. A video of excellence has been birthed into existence, and you were there to witness it. Thank you for participating. We hope you had a good time. Folks, it's a great time anytime we get to share time with you, and we mean it. The only thing additional we ask, on the way out the door, consider clicking the like button. Share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those pesky algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below, and oh, by the way, if you would be so kind, perhaps share this out on your favorite social media platforms. Folks, we've got all kinds of content coming your way. If you are interested in going even beyond all of that, well, there's a Pro Store, and you can always find those items directly below the video you're watching. The Pro Store, it's a cool place to check out for items that, well, definitely Disney and the rest are not going to sell you, but we're happy to do so. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.